squeeze this in real quick, man. I appreciate y'all. So Jalen Duren, I know I've been banging these Duren videos out, and y'all like them. Hit the link in the description. Join the Patreon. I'm gonna join me on Facebook, Instagram, the whole nine. Everything is in the link tree in the description. And say find me everywhere. Hype the video, subscribe, all that good. So they're saying that Jalen Duren is seeking the full max. He's seeking the full maximum he can get. So, kind of reading between the lines in the articles that we were reading the last couple of days, it sounded like the sticking point might be 40. The sticking point might be the 44 that Sacramento or another team can offer him. No. The sticking point is he wants the full max. And you know what I've told y'all what that tell me, and all the things that I observed, all the things that I really observed, like through the years where, if he didn't get the ball, he didn't play with no effort on defense and everything that I observed. And when he got the ball, he started playing a lot better when he got the ball. He don't want to be here, bro. I kind of been saying that. I think he wants the ball more, and the Pistons won't get him ball more. And down the stretch when KD got injured, and he started getting the ball when Dennis Jenkins and they started running the offense through him, he was happy. You know what I'm saying? So I think he wants the opportunity to be the man. I think he wants the offense to run through him a lot more. I think they should run the offense through him a lot more. I've been saying that. People say, why would you get a ball to Jalen Duren? And how can he learn if he don't get the repetition? They should post him up a lot more and play through him in the high post and the low post. He's a really good passer out the post, and he can do some post moves. I've been saying that, and people say, why would you do that? Because you don't have a secondary offensive option. That's why. You don't play fast enough. You don't have another option. So give him an opportunity to prove in the post that he can do something. But then, at the playoffs, kind of shot that down. But they said that Jalen Duren wants the 5-year, $287 max contract from the Pistons. Kelly OKO. This is on Yahoo Sports. Duren wants the max. 5 years, $287 million. He's 22 years old. Was a critical piece of the Pistons team that shocked the world en route to a 60-win finish. And that's probably what they're saying. We got the 60 ball, and they said everything came crashing down for Duren and play. For weeks, Detroit has been unable to find any sort of common ground with Duren, and it appears we may know soon the reason why that's the case. According to a new report, Duren wants the $5,287 million max contract from the Pistons, and the front office inability to give him that sort of money is why he still doesn't have a contract. And I say this, if they gave him that type of money, you might as well have just paid Jaylen Brown to come here. Duren wants the max. This is a quote. 5 years, 287. Kelly Iko of Yahoo Sports bluntly reported he is 22 years old. He was a critical piece of the Pistons team. That shocked the world en route of a 60-win finish, third team All NBA, and that's what he gonna hang his hat on. And you would ask me, what does the Pistons do at this point? Now, I'm not somebody that say another man shouldn't get his chili. The NBA said he made the third team, said he entitled to 5 years, $287 million. He supposed to be the second best player on that team. But if they give him that money, then they can't pay Atari Thompson without going into the salary cap, the second apron, that threshold, and they don't want to be there. And at the end of the day, they gonna hold out hope. This was their priority. Their priority wasn't was doing best for Cade and Detroit Pistons. Their priority was just getting them done, and it failed them. You give him this $287 million, then is he gonna continue to improve? He gonna grow into that guy? You strapped. Can't pay Asar Thompson, so then you probably trading him, trying to get Ron Hollins ready. It's a messed up position to be in, and now you wish you gave him the 30 ball last year, but in general, you got to move him, and if he's willing to go somewhere else and take a lot less money, it is what it is. You just couldn't give him that money. You move on. My whole thing is, whether you shopping him to Houston, wherever you shopping him to, if it's trying to get him, ship him to Milwaukee and get Hero and get Miles Turner, I'm just throwing ideas out there. If it's shopping them out there to Houston, trying to get Sengun and KD, or is it shopping them to Dallas to get Kyrie and Gafford or Lively, and you got to give up picks to get them. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. But if I'm going out there and I'm going to get a Sengun or a Sabonis, I'm going to, give me a safety net behind that. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to Houston regardless about getting Clint Capella. Is that where he at? Or talking about getting Steven Adams. I'm just going to have my Eldon Campbell on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have my, what's the big fella that went, James Edwards, that went over to the Bulls from us. I'm going to make those precautions, man. And, that's just my opinion on it. But, I'm going to take those precautions. I'm gonna take those actual precautions, bro. But that's on them. At the end of the day, if you give him $287 million, he turned out to be one of the best big fellas or the best guy, one of the best guys in the league. It's happily spent. But once you do that, that's it. Your future is contingent on him and Cade Cunningham carrying his team to a championship caliber team. Simple as that. And if y'all ain't made no progress on 45 or 50 in 2 years or 1-1, if y'all ain't made that type of progress, bro, he don't want to be here. And I've assumed that. I seen this 2 seasons ago when I used to go to the games and they was getting blew out by Houston or Boston, and he didn't want to play. Then he started getting the ball and then he started hooping. At this point, dog, if they give it to him, I'm not knocking it. I don't see the championship window here anyway. But the only reason they gonna move him is because they like Asar more than him. And they gonna give Asar his $150 million, whatever many years that is, and you move him. It's simple as that. You get some, it's gonna look real stupid that you move Beef Stew and now you gotta get rid of him. But you knew from the get-go that he was gonna be on this 50. He on his 50 ball in July. He was on his 50 ball in June. He was on his 50 ball when he made first team all or third team all NBA. He's on this 50 ball going into August. You already knew this. I'ma demand something because I really don't want to be here, and they knew he didn't want to be here. They knew he didn't want it. If I can have that observation 2 seasons ago, if I can see it 2 seasons ago, they been knew it, dog. And at the end of the day, it continues to look bad that they did not sell some of these motherfuckers at the trade deadline. It looks bad that you didn't get CJ McCollum. You have CJ McCollum, you might be in the NBA championship. You might be in the NBA championship, bro. If you had McCollum or you made a deal at the deadline like that, you would have probably been in the championship, bro. You would have probably won the NBA final, but you did not do that. And now it's coming back to haunt you that you still haven't got another ball handler that you can count on next year for sure, or another scorer you can count on, ball handler score next year to Cade that you can count on. And you ain't got your number 1 and 2 priorities this offseason set. You ain't got Duren signed, you ain't got Thompson signed. So now, what your ass got to do, you got to shop him for the best deal. You got to call Dallas. And, they said the price was too high. You got to make a deal. You got to make a deal. And, like I said, if I was them personally, I know a lot of people don't. If I had to get Sabonis, I got to make a deal for Adams or Clint Capella. But if I'm them, I'm going to call Dallas. Hey, look here, man. I want one of the motherfuckers Lively, Gafford, and I want that motherfucker Kyrie. How can we make it work? How can we make it work? Yeah, we get 3 first-round draft picks. Fuck it. How can we make that work? That's just my opinion on it, bro. I'm calling them. How can we make this work? How can we make this feng shui? That's the deal that I'm going for. That's the deal that I'm going for. But like I said before, they probably gonna give him 50. They give him the 50. Thompson gone. So there ain't gonna be no compromise, bro. He probably gonna threaten to send that trade him at this point, bro. It's not about the money, bro. It's about the money. It seems it's about the money, but if you really look at the situation, bro, he want to go somewhere and be the man. I would let him. This is the same thing with Jeremy Grant. He chose to come here over Denver because he wanted to score a bunch of fucking points. You ain't gonna win no basketball game like this. Is a critical moment in this championship window. Either they gonna keep it open, or start to open it, or keep it open, or they gonna close it completely with this deal. Real talk. You're going to close. At this point, I put fucking Jabari Smith at center. I hate that one. No offense to him. I don't care. I go trade him for Jabari Smith, man. Before I put myself in a trick bag and keep him for that month, man, it's a wrap, bro. I'm just telling y'all, dog. If he got to go, he got to go, bro. At this point, he don't want to be here. When he was talking to LA, he was talking to Boston or when he's Sacramento, should have told you everything you need to know. Nobody wants to go to Sacramento. No disrespect. He wants to be the man. He don't feel like the Pistons run the offense to him enough. It's a KD Durant type of situation, bro. How when Durant or KD and Russell Westbrook type of situation, when Russell saw him get that MVP. It wasn't about winning championship, make it back to the finals. It was like, nigga, I want one too. Telling y'all, man, hey, they gonna make a grave and Trajan Langdon thinking this optimistic standpoint, oh, this gonna get better. Nah, motherfucker. This gonna be a point that y'all gonna, I'm gonna tell you the two critical points that if this shit go right or this shit go wrong, especially if it go wrong, the 2 points everybody gonna look at where he fucked up at the trade deadline, not going for a championship when that window was open. Not going to get McCollum, not going to get a scorer, not going to get KD, not going to get that next guy. The people gonna point to that point, and then they gonna look and say, "Hey, you knew Duren wasn't happy. You had expiring contracts of eventually. And they found you had good contracts in Duncan, Cares. You could have made a move last year and avoided all of this shit." And he didn't make the move last year. And now that the guys that he chose to keep and not chose to keep to go forward, because if you was gonna sell beef stew, you should have sold beef. One incident cussing the coach out in the playoffs wasn't enough to get rid of the beef stew. If you was gonna get rid of Karis LeVert, we all knew it. It should have been done at the trade deadline, bro. You hoping if you go move Jaden Ivey, get Kevin Hurt. It was the people gonna point back to the trade deadline as the reason if this team don't make the jump. They gonna point back to it and say he was a shitty GM and it all was because of that trade deadline. He played too safe. He didn't risk it. He was optimistic about these guys that he did not draft, nor not a lot of these motherfuckers he picked. Tobias, expiring contract. LeVert, expiring contract. I think Ivy contract was expiring. You knew you probably had issues with Beef Stew. You knew Jalen Duren didn't want to be. The trade deadline was the critical moment to make a shit jump like a car battery. If you was gonna look at LaMelo Ball, if you was gonna look at CJ McCollum, if you was gonna look at anybody off Dallas, even Kyrie, and just getting them here and keeping them here into whether it was Trey Murphy, they was posed to make the deal at the deadline, and they probably would have won a championship. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link in the description. It say find me everywhere. Find me everywhere from Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine. Hit the link, hype the video. Peace.
If the qualifying offer is on the table, then the Pistons, first of all, Duren, is getting terrible advice, has no interest in winning basketball games and being here. But the other side of it would be the Pistons would have gravely miscalculated the player's desire to earn his free agency and or leave. And I just am not going to do that, right? Like, I can't believe the Pistons would misread it that bad. I'm still Team Pistons on this one.
See, I think the Pistons have drawn the line in the sand, and they are just waiting for Jalen to show up to the facilities and say, all right, fine, I'll take the deal. So I don't think there is a compromise right now. There is one deal, and that is it. Now, it's funny because the one executive who paid the most said $157 million over 4 years, but then he also said he also had poor play during Detroit's first series against Orlando Magic and second round losses against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So that also stuck in his mind, but he said he would probably pay him knowing, he didn't show up in the playoffs. So most of them are saying around 30 million and maybe a little more than 30 million a year is what you're looking at.
Look, if he wanted 4 at 177, do the math. He's getting terrible advice. There's just no other way around it.